Back again, follow along as I put on a B-square scope mount on a 870 Express Super Magnum. Getting ready to reload and shoot some 1 ounce Lee cast slugs. What's included in the kit? This actually looks pretty solid. Thicker aluminum. And of course, cardinal rule, always blue Loctite. And I'll find out in the next minute or so here. I'm going to take these screws out and I'm going to line it up and see if they line up with the pins. They have to line up with these. And you can see that the little holes in there, that's meant so that you can tap these out. And you leave your trigger group alone, you don't touch anything. You slide this mount over top. And I'm sure there are little spacers to fill in the gaps. And you take the little screws that are included in this kit, and I'm sure they've got the tools and everything in here. I'll open it up in a second. So here's what's included in your B-square 870 mount, saddle mount. And see instructions here. They're quite brief. The assumption is, I think, that even a monkey can do this. So I think I can do what a monkey can do, except for the tree climbing and whatnot. So here we go. What do we got? We got a dovetail base. We got some attachment screws. And we got a couple of hex keys. Slide action back to rear. Remove the trigger plate pins. Put them in a little baggie. Store them with all the other things you take off your rifles in a safe place. So if you ever want to put it back the way it was, you can. Place the B-square base over the receiver. Insert the attachment screws. Tighten securely, do not over tighten. So that's trying to monkey proof it here for you. That's about the only thing I think you can screw up. Cross threading or just being a complete idiot and cranking on it. Check action, make sure it works smoothly. If action is locked up, loosen the screws. Recheck all screws after initial firing, break-in period, but I'm going to have them blue Loctited, so. Made in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm assuming American made. Be a little bit better. Well, it's probably made in China, but find out here in a minute. It goes on that. I'm going to take these screws out. And I'm just going to lay it over to see if the screw holes line up. Otherwise, it's got to go on my other shotgun. But yeah, that's what's in your kit. Now, how does that look? If I slide this over like that. So far, so good. You know what I think? I think this kit's going to work. And here are the screws with another little close-up. Hang on. Right there. There's a skinnier one and a fatter one. Take a look here. The little pin at the back is fatter. The little one at the front is skinnier. So, this is essentially how it's going to sit on here after. And I'll open up the action later just to prove to you that there's no round in there. Because people do stupid things day in, day out. So, that's one of them. Make sure this thing is empty when you go to bolt it on. But it's a couple screws with Loctite. Just don't have a round in it. Pretty simple. Well, right now it doesn't look that bad. Fairly well lit. I gave it a pretty good tap from the other side. And you can see that it's most of the way through now. So we'll try to do some filming with this little camera. See how it makes out. So I think I'm going to turn the light on, stop using this one, and we'll try the next, this little guy. But pretty straightforward so far. There, you can use pretty much anything you want at this point, because it's been started, but it needs just a little bit more. Who says you can't even use the Allen key once you got it started? 1, 2. Like I said, you don't have to go all Hamtown, knock this thing across the room, but there we go. A kaplunk. got that going. Right through. No problem. Next screw. Drop or two. See it on the threads. This one I'm going to give it a little bit of a lift and a little help, just like that. Now I can feel it. It went all the way through. I have different set of rings. These are like a low mount ring, but if I move that scope all the way back, you see what's going to happen? Bonk. So I'm going to test it out first. Line it up. Maybe I don't have to throw the other rings on, but I might have to put on my medium high rings. But I'll let you know how that goes in the next 2 minutes. I say all that now. You see I can move those mounts around a little bit now. I have clearance. What's clearance over. Looks good. And my field of view, I said when I dropped my face onto that thing, wow, crystal clear, lines up beautifully. So I'm going to tighten this up. And I'll include some video with my slugs that I made. Lee 1 ounce slugs with my buddy Mike. Probably going to do a couple hundred each. Test fire them, see what kind of groups we get. Measure them out, probably 50 meters. See how they fly. Try a couple different recipes. We're going to start with the one that comes with Lee. I don't want to misquote, but I think it's 36 grains of HS6 powder and a very specific hull and a very specific wad. Yeah, the old 870 Express, and I'm going to put the longer barrel on it. This is for the one for, probably going to end up giving this one to my son. Either that or my other 870. I'll probably put a pistol grip on it, and with the short barrel, and he goes fishing in mountain streams, so you can have that in a scabbard between your shoulder blades on your back, because there are bears and there are hillbillies. And some tweaking goofball sees you walking with a shotgun in a stream, think he's gonna pick somebody else to bother. Here we go. Part 1. I'll let you know how this thing holds up, but from everything that I read, the B-square stuff is pretty decent. Because what choice really do you have when it comes to mounting a scope like this on a shotgun? And I'll see if it stands up to the beating it's going to take from a 1 ounce slug. But it's on there pretty good. And so is my trigger grip. It's back home. I'll clean this thing up a little bit, put it away. And I'll show you some video here right away of the slugs that we made. Well, at least the casting of them. And the next trip over to Mike's, I think when we have the rest of our supplies, we're going to load up. And you can see what they look like. Talk to you in a bit. And here's the shotgun that the scope mount went onto. Remington 870 Express Super Magnum. But like it said on the packaging, it was supposed to work with this, and it did. Screw holes lined up, it's bang on. So there was another, and I think it takes also on original 870s, it'll say a serial number X or N in it, if you know it's going to fit. I think those are the full size sort of 12 gauge models. It's because those screws have to line up. But we are bang on. Like I said, $25 scope. This Buckhorn. Doesn't look like much. It looks like it was on the floor of some vehicle bouncing around. So we'll find out, but optics-wise, looking at it, so clear. Just love this. I used to have, as a kid, an original Bushnell banner made in Japan. I think it was a 3x9. That thing was fantastic. It stood up to everything. And this doesn't seem too far off. This is a older one that they made in Korea. But the optics are good. Now, does it track? If I try to, move the point of impact, we'll find out. But yeah, B square on the Remington 870 Express Super Magnum. No problemo. Here's the dog relaxing after a job well done. Please like and subscribe if this is your thing. Stay tuned and I'll have the videos for you of the group sizes of our slugs. Catch you in a bit.